Hi, I'm Darrell Poper, AIFD, floral designer and visual display artist at Shinoda Design Center, and today I'm going to show you how to make an arrangement for spring with lemons and limes. We're going to start out with, I have selected hydrangeas in a real pretty cream color, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use them individually, so I'm going to cut off all the stems on these. And we have ivy. We're going to do the same on this. We're going to cut this apart. This will be our greenery in our arrangement. And we have some beautiful dogwood. I'm going to use that as well. And then some little stephanotis blossoms. I love these because I thought they looked like the blossoms that on a lemon tree, closest I could find. So we're going to pretend to make it work. And here's our lemons and limes. What I did with these is I took a knife and I pushed the knife down through and made a hole in it, and then I put hot glue on a pick and put the pick inside. So these are going to work how we're going to insert them. You could go ahead and hot glue them right on. I don't like to do arrangements that way because in time they do pop off. I feel much safer doing it this way. And then at the very end we'll use some of our fruit that's been sliced. Isn't this great looking? Look how real it looks. I want to make lemonade. Okay, we're going to start off with our hydrangeas first. And take your wire cutters and cut a nice point at the end of your stem. A nice point is going to make it go into your styrofoam really easily. A blunt end will go in, but in time it's going to want to fall out. A straight point at an angle will secure it very nicely. I'm going to make this arrangement. It's going to be very low, very compact. And I'm going to use the foliage on this as well. I'll show you how that's going to be done in just a minute. This arrangement's going to be really low. So this could be used as a centerpiece on a table, could be used on a sideboard. I have the top of the styrofoam covered with Spanish moss, which is a gray moss, natural material. I left it real loose and airy on here because I could have picked it in with what we call fern pins. I didn't do it because I know the stems of my flowers are going to hold it in place. Almost there. Well, that worked out great, just enough. Okay. Now, what I did on this when I cut them off, I left the stems on these so I can still use these as well. This will be my additional foliage. I use everything when I make an arrangement. I make it work. And if I don't use it all in this arrangement, I'll save it for another piece. Be sure to rotate your arrangement as you're designing. You'll end up putting most of your flowers in one spot if you don't continue to rotate your flowers. And be sure to get them, a lot of them around the edges, around the bottom. That'll finish off your design. We want to make sure that our mechanics are good and all of our stems are in place and our foundation is covered. Don't want to see any gaps in this. I love this because there's just a lot on it. Okay, now we're going to take our ivy. This has light, nice long runners, which I'm going to utilize. I want to make this arrangement very gardeny looking, so I'm going to have some of the runners on this running off of our design. Nice wired stems, so the arrangement can have some motion going on it. This is great stems on these, nice and wired, so we've got some motion going through our design. One plant is plenty for this. I don't think we need it anymore. Just about the right amount. Okay, now, there's a few left. These are the ones we'll use in the middle. Cut our stubs off. Getting some good coverage on this. I've got a nice amount of greenery here, so it'll cover up all of our mechanics. We have our lemons. I picked lime on this because we'll show you a little bit later why I've selected that color. Again, cut the points on the bottom of on your picks. I'm going to put our lemons and limes in at different angles, like they'd be natural, like they'd be, just falling right into the flower arrangement. Don't want to have them real uniform. I want them very haphazard looking. These are really good picks. These are hyacinth picks that I selected to use on these. Are very strong. Lighter weight ones probably would break as I'm pushing them in. But these are really good. Gosh, I want lemonade. Okay, stop there. Now we have some really special ones here, the ones that are already sliced that are open. So we're going to put those in kind of focal areas in our arrangement. I want to make sure they show. Now I'm going to use dogwood. I love the dogwood. Dogwood is usually pitch white. This is a soft kind of a cream color. Now, this is the way it comes when we buy it by the stem, but I'm going to show you some tricks on how to make it look really natural. Most people, if they don't know it, would probably put this in an arrangement as is, straight. Take the branches and bend every single stem, one by one, different directions, in, out, in, out. This is what's going to make your branch look very, very natural, and it's going to look like this is the way you'd see it growing on a tree. If you want it in your arrangement, you want it to be very tall, I would still suggest bending the stems a little bit so it is a little bit more natural looking. Just by adding this extra height to this arrangement and extra movement gave this design a little bit more perceived value. Made the arrangement look even bigger than it already is, and it doesn't take any more space. This is a great way to make a design look larger by adding length and stems to your design without adding a lot of extra expense to more and more flowers. Now I'm going to add the Stephanotis blossoms to it. I wanted to have a little bit of the blossom like the plant would be, but I think there's a little too many leaves on these and I don't feel they're really necessary, so I'm going to cut these off. I want just the blossoms to show. Let's add a little bit more movement to this. Gonna add curly willow. This is wonderful. This is what our curly willow, we have it in 2 or 3 colors. This is very natural. This is wired all the way down. So curly willow, as we know it, when we use it in an arrangement dry, it does dry in time, gets very brittle. This one won't. This is, again, this is gonna create movement in our design. Makes an arrangement definitely very natural looking with this wild curly willow dancing through it. Okay, and here's our finished lemon and lime bouquet. Natural materials, hydrangeas, dogwood, Stephanotis blossoms. We're going to pretend that they're lemon blossoms, but anyway, it'll work. Thank you so much for being with me, and join us again at Shinoda Design Center for more inspiration.